Most men don't realize when the shift happens. It never arrives with a loud crash. It's slow, silent, almost gentle. The process of a man fading into the background of his own life. One day you're felt, noticed, respected, and then gradually you become something else. Not a man with weight, but a presence so familiar it becomes invisible. You turn into that old armchair in the corner, still functional, still there, still useful, but no one really sees it. No one appreciates it. And if it disappeared, another chair would quietly replace it. And within days, no one would even remember the difference. This is the tragic transformation of millions of men. They don't become unimportant because they are weak. They become unimportant because they slowly train everyone around them to stop seeing them. They become household appliances, reliable, predictable, and utterly uninteresting. A man sits beside the woman he loves, but she is already somewhere else. Her eyes glaze over, her mind drifts, and her phone becomes more stimulating than the man she once admired. And this happens because he forgets something essential, that a woman cannot be attracted to a man who cannot hold his ground. Most men enter relationships as predators, with direction, boundaries, goals, a life of their own. But give it a few months, and they become pets. They shrink themselves. They over-explain, over-apologize, over-justify. They trade their identity for peace, and eventually they lose both. 6 months in, they're asking permission to see their own friends. A year later, they apologize for choosing the wrong movie. 2 years later, they can't make a single decision without checking her expression. Piece by piece, their personality gets reformatted until they no longer remember who they were before her. The tragedy is that they think this is maturity. They call it compromise. They call it love. But what they're really doing is stepping back every time she pushes forward, until eventually she stands on a throne and he kneels under it. Every time she crosses a boundary and he retreats. Every time she uses emotion as a weapon and he surrenders. Every time she tests him and he breaks. He believes he is keeping the peace, but he is killing her attraction in real time. He is burying her respect with his own hands. Women don't lose interest suddenly. They lose interest gradually. Every time you show you can be bent. Deep inside a woman's psychology is an instinct older than civilization. She needs a man who can stand in the storm. Someone stronger than her chaos. Someone who will not crumble under pressure. And when she realizes she can break you, when she sees that her emotional storms send you into panic, apology, or silence, something inside her dries up forever. A piece of her attraction turns to dust, and her crown begins to grow. That crown is not poetic. It's real. You see it in her tone, sharp, dismissive, irritated. You see it in the way she looks at you, not with admiration, but with superiority. You see it in the way she speaks to you in a tone she never uses with anyone else. Her gaze slides over you like your staff, not a partner, someone there to pay bills, fetch items, solve problems, and absorb blame. And as the crown grows heavier, you bend more, until she no longer sees a man. She sees a creature she built from your fear of losing her, a version of you she secretly despises. But there is a deeper mechanism destroying the modern man. The testing paradox. Women test men instinctively to ensure he is strong, but the tests themselves erode weak men over time. A small tantrum here, a jealousy jab there, a passive-aggressive comment, a guilt trip, a threat, a long silence. Each one is a drop of water slowly carving a mountain, slowly wearing away his spine until he becomes a hollow, agreeable shell. He becomes safe, convenient, predictable, and completely sexless. And here is the most savage part. She hates him for becoming this way. She hates the weakness, even though her own tests created it. She hates the compliance, even though she rewarded it. She hates the man she shaped, because he exposes her mistake in choosing him. This is the dynamic no one talks about. Women who live in emotional chaos start believing chaos is normal. They think drama equals love. They think arguments equal passion. They think control equals stability. They look at other couples who seem genuinely happy and tell themselves, they're faking it. But this belief is a lie. a lie that helps them excuse their own behavior and avoid confronting the truth. Some men have cracked the code. Some men don't bend, some men don't crumble. Some men know exactly how to shut down the entire circus with a few carefully chosen truths. The first truth that breaks the cycle is showing her she is not as exceptional or unpredictable as she believes. A calm, controlled acknowledgement that she has become predictable, that her games are unoriginal, her reactions rehearsed, her patterns identical to every woman before her, destroys her ego's foundation. Women build their identity on the illusion of uniqueness. When you calmly reveal that she is living out the same script as every other woman, she cannot process it. She freezes. She malfunctions. Because you didn't insult her, you exposed her. Then comes the deeper truth. You show genuine indifference to her leaving. Not fake detachment, not performative coldness, but real acceptance. When she threatens to walk, and you quietly let her go, her entire world collapses. Every manipulative tool she ever used relies on the belief that you fear losing her. When you show that you do not fear it, when you show that her absence does not shatter you, her throne falls apart. She expected panic. She expected desperation. Instead, she sees freedom. And nothing terrifies her more than a man who is free. Then there is the truth almost no man dares speak, that she is not irreplaceable sexually. A woman's sexual power is her pride, her weapon, her leverage. She believes she can control a man through intimacy, through desire, through performance. When you calmly reveal that the physical connection was merely average, nothing special, nothing unforgettable, you don't insult her. You dismantle the illusion she uses to maintain control. For many women, this is the first moment in their life where their sexual ego experiences real vulnerability. And then there is the agreement technique, the move that breaks her script entirely. When she throws hurtful lines meant to trigger you, and instead of reacting, you agree with them, her attack collapses under its own weight. She expects emotional fireworks, and you give her nothing but cold, clean logic. It disarms her completely, because the attack was never about truth. It was about creating a reaction she could use. Without that reaction, the attack dies. But the deepest psychological shock comes later, when she leaves, expecting your world to crumble, and instead sees your world expand. You become lighter, freer, happier. You reconnect with passions she dismissed. You enjoy your time without apology. You smile in photos again, and she realizes something she was never prepared to confront. She wasn't the sunshine in your life. She was the cloud blocking it. This creates an existential crisis in her. Not because she wants you back romantically, but because your independence destroys the illusion of her importance. Her ego cannot handle the idea that you were better off without her, and that's when she returns, disguised as closure, talking, checking in, or getting her things. But she is not returning for love. She is returning to reclaim control. This entire dynamic reveals a truth men fear to accept. A woman doesn't test you because she wants to dominate you. She tests you because she hopes you resist, because she wants to respect you, because she wants to feel safe surrendering to a man who cannot be broken by her emotions. What she fears most is not that you will leave her. It's that you will stay, but stop needing her. That you will look at her with no anger, no fear, no longing, just neutrality. Indifference is the desert where manipulation cannot grow. You now stand at a crossroads. Remain background noise in your own story, or reclaim the authority you traded away piece by piece. Keep bending until you disappear, or rise until she has no choice but to see you again. If you're tired of becoming furniture, if you're tired of silence, if you're ready to stop being replaced and finally become a man who cannot be ignored, subscribe to Women Exposed. Here, we don't play the game, we end it. See you in the next video.